Good evening everyone and welcome to the Supercars NZ Trak Racer GTE Endurance Series live on iRacing. Tonight we kick things off with round 1 from the legendary Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari Imola. Known for its technical corners, long straights and rich motorsport history, this track is going to test every ounce of concentration, strategy and endurance that these drivers have. Tonight is all about consistency and making the right calls under pressure. Over the next 90 minutes, we'll see our drivers push themselves and their machines to the absolute limit as they fight for glory in one of the toughest forms of sim racing. And joining me in the commentary box tonight is none other than Corey Kitchen. Corey, welcome aboard. Endurance racing always has that unpredictable drama, and Imola is the perfect place to get this season underway. What are you most looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, thanks, Shane. I think it's great to be here. Honestly, I'm excited to see how these guys handle the balance between aggression and patience. Imola's pretty unforgiving. One mistake can you'll end up out in all of that shingle. So yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on pit stop strategies and yeah, see who can stay cool under pressure. 90 minutes in one of these things around here. It's going to be a bit of fun.
Well said, Corey. The stage is set, the drivers are ready, and the grid is forming. It's time to get round 1 of the Supercars NZ Trak Racer GTE Endurance Series underway. Let's go racing at Imola. And we can have a look at what we've got in store for tonight. So all the information up on screen there, and 21 degree air temperature currently with 65% humidity and clear skies. So something we've become used to through the GT3s this season. We've moved to the GTEs now and still clear skies. Should be warm temperatures on track at the moment, and you can see the track layout there on the right hand side. A very cool little circuit, isn't it, Corey?
It is. It's definitely probably in my top 5. I reckon. I've always liked to come in here. I've had good V8 result here in official. I've got a second, I think it was, and yeah, it's always been a favourite track to come. I am a fan of GP circuits. I think, yeah, and what a wicked place.
Yeah, it is a very cool place. We're currently in our qualifying session. That's actually not too far away from ending. You can see there, just coming down towards the checkered flag now. They will get the chance to finish off their laps once that time runs out. Jack Willis, new driver this series. He's currently on provisional pole. He just sets another time. Quite a bit slower on that lap, so that might have been an out lap. Either way, he's timed it to perfection because he's just managed to start his lap a few seconds before the checkered flag comes out. So we'll keep an eye on this one and see if he's able to improve. Stephen McCartan, who used to be seen so dominant, is back in the pits now, sitting in second position. He was just 0.01 of a second back from Jack, so very tight at the top. Zach Wentz-Smith, probably the closest guy on track to being able to challenge Jack. He's currently 0.6 behind, so Jack looking pretty safe at the moment, but out there continuing to lap, and we'll see if he can improve on it. Not currently lighting up the timing screens though.
No, not too many. Yeah, that's just the 3 cars out on track. So everybody's sort of called it quits. The checkered flag is out, and yeah, we're about to get in behind that safety car and get this race underway.
We absolutely are. Now you may hear some voices in the background tonight. You'll potentially hear Nick Mitchell and Peter Vanderberg in race control. You'll see their name pop up when they're talking. So we've got the race control radio turned on. We'll hear from those guys as well as all the drivers calling in an incident.
Car 31
And
will be starting from pit lane due to not setting a lap time. Thank you.
so Peter Vanderberg there announcing that car 31 will be starting from pit lane. The graphic didn't quite pop up because I didn't quite turn that on. But in future you should just see, just under the MRP logo in the top right corner there, below our nice Trak Racer logo that we've got above that, you should see a little radio graphic pop up which will have the name of the person that's talking as well. There we go.
For broadcast purposes.
There we go. So that was Corey talking there. It didn't actually come up with his name there. So
I am spectating in the session. I think that might be why.
that could be why. Yeah. So but
I'm a ghost.
that radio graphic is what will pop up when we hear people talking, whether it be race control talking to the drivers or drivers calling in incidents to race control, and hopefully the drivers have got the message and will follow the message that that's all they should be using their radios for, is calling in incidents to race control. And how cool is this little scenic drone shot that we've got cruising around the track, by the way?
Yeah, this is Doug. He's flying the FPV drone from wherever he is. Miss you, Doug.
Alright, well, we are getting ready to grid now, so we can have a look at our grid lineup and bring it up there. So Jack Whittis on pole position, Stephen McCartan alongside him on the front row, and then we go back to Hogan Shrimpton and Zach Wentz-Smith in behind them. Matthew P. Johnson and Sean McNamara make up the third row, and then Aaron Goodrick and Dylan Radford. Hamish Barnhill and Rob Carwood round out the top 10. Then we go back to Kristen Jenkins, Dan Turner,
Attentional
Blake Greenhill,
teams.
Wayne Hartnell, Chris
Car
Aluski, James
017 will also
McKenzie,
have a pit lane start for not setting a time.
Phil Carpenter, Anthony Green, Tom McCall, George Mills, Alan Scott, Steve Darren, Pete Rotmitz, Bill Kilgour, and then Brian Borg off the back. Sounds like John Carswell and Miles Pastor, maybe the cars starting from pit lane. Only a couple of cars
Brian
starting from
Borg.
pit lane anyway.
So Brian Borg, if you are familiar with watching sim racing, he's an Australian. He's been around for quite some time, and it's interesting. See him in here, Premier Racing Team.
Yeah, so we're getting ready to roll. Jack Whittis just jumping onto the grid there. Jack is with us. Sorry,
Well
had to. Not too far away from getting rolling behind the pace car now. Just about 15 seconds left, and then they will head onto their formation lap. Just a short formation lap here as well. Looks like they're starting just into the Variante Alta, so the last chicane on the circuit before you get into the final sequence.
Yeah, just a couple of tenths between first and second though, so pretty tight. Top 5 all did 38s, and then within the top 11 all under 139 with the high 139, so we'll say one under 140. Pretty close. Be a bit of a change from GT3 racing, so they I think they don't have ABS but have traction control, or that might be it. So they're definitely losing some ABS, but gaining aero.
Yes, the drivers will have to manage their brake modulation themselves, won't be able to rely on that ABS to prevent lockups, and they've got to go for an hour and a half tonight as well, 90 minutes, so good long race. I don't believe there's any restriction on fuel, so it should be a one-stopper. I probably should have read the rules properly, and I know that. You might be able to tell us, Corey, if you can go into the garage and see if we've got a fuel restriction.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to go anyway. We are through the final corner. Safety car is peeled off.
Hey Jack, mate, you're not allowed to slow down, just saying.
And we're racing. Jack Whittis getting the jump. Hogan Shrimpton getting a good start as well. Looks like he's going to be able to challenge Stefan down towards turn 1. Bringing out in the back as they head into the first chicane, and all filtering into there. Someone jumping over the curbs that look like Matthew Johnson in the Ford GT there.
Yeah,
Good
it
thing
sort of
about,
stands out, that one, doesn't it?
yeah, I was going to say, the good thing about having a Ford GT in the field is not many people drive them, so you can just look for the guy with the Ford next to his name. Actually, there's a few of them out there, so it might have actually been
Yeah,
Dylan
three.
Rodford, might have been a bit further back there.
Yeah, three of them, by the looks of it. 3 Ferrari, a few Porsches, a few Corvettes, a few Fords, a few BMWs, so different cars from what we've been used to over the previous 8 weeks, so into a whole new series of endurance races at some pretty awesome tracks too.
Tom McCall put a good move on Anthony Green there to get up into P17. But a side-by-side going up ahead. Looks like Blake Greenhill and Christian Jenkins. I think Blake might have just put a pass on Christian there for P12. Blake running a little bit wide though, and he might have picked up a slowdown there. It is pretty easy to pick up that slowdown out of the Variante Alta, and Christian is certainly getting the run back on him down into the final couple of corners, but Blake able to keep position for now at least. Meanwhile, out front is Jack Widdis leading us to the end of the first lap with a just under 0.3 of a second margin over Stephen McCartan. So this is looking like it's going to be a super tight battle all the way through this race. Could come down to pit strategy.
Yeah, pit strategy, fuel saving, and we know from experience that Stephen McCartan can do that, and these cars are very, very good to fuel saving, and they're not going to have to change tyres because the tyre dig in these cars is ridiculous. You'll get three stints out of a set of tyres in an endurance race if you're daring.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very good durable tyre on the car. They will still have to think about their temperature management. They can be susceptible to overheating, not as much as the tyre on the React supercars, but certainly if you're pushing too hard for too long, they will overheat, and then you have to back off a little bit to bring them back into that window. But yeah, certainly the physical dig will hold on for a long time. So as you're quite right to say, they shouldn't be expected to do tyres in this one. It'll take probably longer than the amount of fuel they'll need to change the tyres, because they can only do one tyre at a time, and then they'll have to get the tyres back up to temperature as well, which will be more time lost.
Yes, yeah, no one wants to do that. These top 5 though, they're starting to put a little bit of a gap on Sean McNamara and Aaron Goodrick, who are the 2 cars in between the 2 big packs of cars. Just on the back here, Matthew Johnson, on the back of Zach Weddett-Smith. Just letting him know he's there. So there's plenty of good passing opportunities around here too, eh, Shane?
Yeah, there is. Turn 1, a good opportunity, although you kind of have to be alongside before you get to the braking zone, but you can set it up out of the final corner. Another good option is coming up, if you can get a good run through this chicane, you can then get down the inside into this hairpin, but Zach just a little bit too far ahead of Matthew on this occasion for Matt to think about making that move. Have to settle into single file for a wee while through this section of the lap now as they come up over the crest into the double left-hander here, and then they're going to drop down the hill and go into a double right-hander at Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, these Italian names for corners, eh?
Yeah, I believe there's a fresh mineral water spring down near that corner at the bottom somewhere, which is why Aqua Minerale is Italian for mineral water, funnily enough.
There you go. Well, we all learned something tonight. You can go to sleep knowing you're more learned than you were when it started. Couple in the chat there. Scott, as usual, with the number 1 beside us now. He's saying, hello, Shane and Dunk. Okay.
Alright.
You just call me that now. That's Phil Carpenter. So, slipping down.
Yeah, Phil in the gravel there on the exit of Tamburello. No, not Tamburello, sorry.
Chris Zaluski in the lane. So maybe something's happened there.
So Phil's just pulled up short of the lane.
Yeah, there was a part chat. I think he may be stuffed. Maybe he's got no
Copy.
go.
Yeah, please hold in place.
Yeah, sounds like he has requested a tow. Peter Vanderberg and Race Control communicating with him. So they will be assessing whether that requires a safety car. So we'll keep an ear out
Safety
for
car,
that.
yes, that has been called.
Okay.
In the chat, writing it has, but he hasn't said it out loud.
Okay, so safety car boards are out.
Yes, he is in the car.
So it looks like our leaders have backed things off as well. Already saving some fuel. Different strategies with the safety car compared to the V8s, where certainly on Tuesday night on the Enduro, any safety car that came out,
Safety car.
Yep, so we have got the verbal call there, so they should come around and find Peter
Safety car is
momentarily.
just after turn 2.
Yeah, the only GT3 that's managed to carry on from the 8 weeks.
Sure is the Mercedes safety car on track there, and a lot of gravel. Will hopefully get the marshals out on track with the brooms to sweep all that out while we're under safety car. But yeah, beautiful looking MRP safety car there in the Mercedes. And yeah, as I was saying, on Tuesday night in the V8 Endurance, any time the safety car came out, the opportunity was taken to get into pit lane and get fresh rubber on. But as you quite rightly pointed out, Corey, they won't be needing to change tyres on this one.
You
So
can tow now, Philip.
the
Please tow now.
the strategy as far as coming in under safety car will be largely dictated by that fuel window. So wouldn't be expecting anyone certainly around the front to come in at this point. We may see some guys near the back come in and get a little bit of fuel in so they can have a shorter stop later and see if that can pay dividends. But if you're at the front or even in the mid pack at this stage, it's just going to cost too much track position, especially now that we have bunched up behind the safety car.
Yeah, it's another chance for somebody, you know, if you've slipped away and maybe you've made a mistake at the start, so now you've got cars in front of you, and get back on track, maybe another chance. We're only 5 laps in. So according to, when I jumped in the garage, when I jumped in the car before, it said it 26 laps out of a tank of fuel.
Right, attention all drivers, will be going
Another
green this
21
lap.
laps, we might
We'll
see
be going
some
green this lap.
pit stops, I reckon.
Car 7 has control of the field as soon as safety car pulls away.
It sounds like it's going to be
Car
a quick
7,
safety
please
car. Sounds like
maintain
we're
80
restarting
to
this
90
lap. I
k's
think
per
this
hour.
is going to be, well, this is
Remember, you can go anywhere from the last
this was
corner and
Phil
the red line at pit lane entry.
already trying
No
to
overlapping for the
limp
apex
back.
of the last corner.
Yeah, it
And
looks
no
like he may
passing
have made
until the red
contact
line
with one of the
at
chicks
pit
of
entry.
BMWs as well, yeah.
So he
Safety
doesn't have the
car is
damage
pulling
here,
away
so
now.
this tells us the story.
Car 7, you have
Goes out,
control of
oh,
the
so
field.
he's just taken a hit there from, I think that was Chris Zaluski in the Racecraft's BMW, and yeah, just too much damage. Tries to rejoin, or tries to limp it back. Heavy damage though, and yeah, did look like he had a bit of contact with, it might have been Steve Darren there, I think he showed us going off track as well, and then not sure why he parked it. Oh, I see, it's shot him hard right into the pit wall, and that's when he's decided that he's not going to be able to get it back. He got so close though, didn't he?
Yeah, you could have wall rode it all the way in, I reckon. But where's the fun in that? Bit of real life, you know, when you've had an accident and your car buggers out. But we're back underway. Jack Widders has control.
Yeah, and Jack has put the foot down and leads us away on the restart. Stephen McCartan sticking with him. Does he think about a move down into turn 1 here? Not at the moment. That went Smith. Putting a little bit of pressure on Hogan Shrimpton.
So he's looking fast. Zach Widders-Smith, he has the fastest lap of the race so far too, and it's by near half a second. Oh no, it's not by much. Stefan McCartan is the next closest.
Yeah, and the top 4 all recording a 1 minute 39 as their best lap time. I think we've got a timing error with Matthew Johnson recording a 3:08 as his best lap time. That was his last lap under safety car, so potentially maybe getting some off tracks actually prior to that safety car on every other lap and not actually recording that as an official lap could be the reason there.
Yeah, there must be somewhere where he's running wide every lap, but yeah, that's all part of it too. You've got to sort of figure out yourself how far you can push it.
Absolutely, and he'll need to get on top of that fairly quickly because I believe they're limited to, was it 25 incident points over the course of the 90 minutes tonight?
Yeah, it is, yeah, 25 incident points, and then they'll have a tour of the pit lane.
Kilgore just ran a little bit wide in front of Stefan Adams there, and Stefan, I think, momentarily thought he might be able to get the position, but just couldn't quite slide it down there. But looking like a good, tight little battle pack back here for 21th. Brian Borg getting involved as well, pulling out down the straight, and looks like he might even pick both of them off. So I think he didn't put a lap in and had to start from pit lane, and he's working his way through now.
Yeah, he was a name that was around when I started racing in the V8s, and he's been, you know, like a split one Scott sort of a driver for a long time.
So very pacey is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I'd say he would be very pacey, but starting off the back, maybe a bit of fun and cleanly get his way up the front. Stefan Adams isn't giving it up though, is he?
There's not. Stefan and Bill side by side. Stefan's going to be on the outside, but he's been able to make it work. And he's not going to stop at the spring for some mineral water because he's got some racing to do. He's too busy. He might be able to stop there at the end of the race and have a nice drink.
Yeah, a bit of a train of BMWs there. Quite a few of them back there actually. 2 in front of Brian Borg and 3 behind him.
Full of BMWs near the front as well, and still very tight in that top 5. These guys delivering on the promise of a tight race so far.
Yeah, nobody's given up the front. That top 5
Race
is
control
just...
car 131. I'm pulling into the pits. I'm withdrawing.
We didn't need to know that, but thank you.
We do know that Alan Scott is going to retire, but he's driving it back to the pits. Good battle packs all the way through the order at the moment. We've got Hamish Barnhill here in P8. He's up 1 spot from where he started. And the highest guy in the field that has improved or changed at all from where he started. Looking to see if we can get one more spot as well with Aaron Goodrick just ahead of him where he started in 7th. We can have a quick look at those gains on the time town. You can see their top 7 all running in the oh, not anymore. Zach Wentz-Smith has just passed Hogan Shrimpton for P3. So he's up 1, Hogan down 1, and a little bit of a gap there as well, so not sure if Hogan's
just when you were making mention of it too, they had to swap.
Yeah. I was literally looking at that part of the graphic and it popped up with a green and a red in there. See if I can...
Very interesting. Top 7, hey?
So we've got that on replay here, so... outbrakes him into the chicane, and despite having the compromised line on the entry, he was able to get a good exit as well and create that gap down towards the final complex.
Did something happen down with Scott? Have we got anything there?
I have got some data of Alan going off track, so we can have a look at that. So he's got Krystolewski just behind him. Ooh, very strange one, just losing the rears. That kind of looks like the old GT3 crash on the old GT3 tyre model where you'd get a bit of rear lock and the traction control would detect that the wheels were sliding and cut all power to the rear wheels, and you wouldn't be able to get that rotation back and would end up going around on you. Looks like a bit of that, but no traction control in the GTEs. No, sorry, no ABS in the GTEs. So it still could have been the traction control kicking in as the rear started to slide under brakes, but very strange one anyway.
Yeah, just one of those, you know, you've just gone around the corner and it just goes, up, you're going over there. That is just how it happens sometimes.
So Stephen McCartan coming to the pits now. So quite early based on the information that you had given us. So I wonder if it's a two-stopper maybe, and this might be the window to get home on one more stop. So he's decided to get out of traffic. He'll fill the tank up again, I presume, and he should be on his way momentarily.
Yeah, well, he's only got Bill Kilgore and Krystolewski to get round him, so they both have. So yeah, he's at the back of the field now, but as you just said, clear air. I've just seen one of the jigsaw cars go around in the corner of my eye.
Oh, it's Steve Darren backwards in the grass. Manages to get it going.
Just look after that fresh new paint job, please, Stephen.
That is looking very cool as well, but we can see what happened to Steve here. So he's side by side with a green Porsche that I'm not familiar with, number 97 I think I saw. Didn't look like there was any contact anyway, but Steve just going around. I don't think we have a 97, so I probably misread the number. I wonder if it was 27. No, it wasn't George Mills.
But it's funny that George Mills and Blake Greenhall can't have been 27 and 28. They're doing it the point. Oh, that green Porsche, I think that's Brian Ball, I think.
Ah, right. Yes, that was the green Porsche that I saw. So it was 017, so from a distance the 0 and the 1 kind of morphed into a 9 in my mind.
I'll take it. Yeah, you've convinced me. As he just makes the pass on Anthony Green, and Anthony Green was actually around for the first maybe 4 or 5 seasons, Supercars NZ. So he's come back, absolutely loves GTE, he's part of KRF, so I've been mates with him for 10 years.
And actually, if I recall correctly as well, I believe he did race control for the first season of GT3s.
Yes, yep, he did. The first maybe 2 seasons, because I think I did race control as well for the first 2 seasons, but I got home to do all the talking.
Oh, so it was really you that handed out all those penalties to me. You just made him the scapegoat.
Yeah, 100%. That'll be what it is.
Well, I'm sure
we made a decision that your driving was terrible, Shane.
I'm sure I deserved them.
Yeah, well, wouldn't give you one for just breathing on me.
Oh, Kristen Jenkins going around at the very end of Alta there, rejoining. One of our Ford GT drivers, and I can have a look at what went on here. So he's all by himself. Oh, I'm not even going to say it. He's just taken a bit too much curb. That's all I'm going to say. Taken a little bit too much curb and just unsettled the car and went around, unfortunately.
Yeah, and possibly the lowest car out there as well. He has absolutely mounted that sausage curb.
I was trying to avoid that, Corey, but thank you.
The way you said it, that's all I wanted to say. Blake Greenhall doing his best to hold off George Mills, and Tom McCall is the next one in the queue there as well. So this is the battle for 12th place, 12th, 13th and 14th. So they're all three of them have actually had a reasonably good race. Blake's up 1 spot, George is up 7, and Thomas McCall is up 5. So in the green, Blake Green.
You're doing a good job, and he's got a little bit of pressure coming on him from George Mills, but he's managed to actually I think we had just missed a pass, Blake Greenhill getting around George there, so we can actually go back and have a look at that. So down the pit straight, or the pit not so straight, because there's a couple of things down this time. And then he pulls out, goes to the move under brakes, and gets the job done very nicely. George, I think, recognising that Blake had the pace and let him go, although did fight back on the exit, but not able to get that position back.
So we've got a car or a track that we can give away tonight, Shana, do we?
Yes, I believe we do. I believe Sean said till the end of the season, so yeah, we'll be giving away.
I have a nomination. I would like to nominate Phil Carpenter. So he was the reason for that first safety car, and he towed, went into the pits. He's got his fast repair, and he's got back out there. So that's big credit, my vote.
Yeah, that's a fair call there. How about we say if Phil makes it to the finish, then he's going to get a car or a track.
I reckon that's a good one. I like that. So he's still got an hour and 8 minutes.
So if somebody's listening that is able to let Phil know, by all means do that. But otherwise he might be in the dark, and we'll just see if he's got the determination, and if he does have the determination, then he's going to be rewarded.
Yeah, definitely, Scott. So that top 7 that before nobody had done much, and that's all changed, but that was due to Stefan McCartan dropping out of that pack, and he dropped to the back of the field, made his way back up to 20th. So just chipping away.
Yeah, and doing quite a good job of it at the moment. I've just noticed Matthew Johnson and Hogan Shrimpton's names swapping around, so Matthew's just put a pass on there, and Hogan dropping back again.
The fastest Ford GT in the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, good move. Pulled out late, fired it down the inside, and got it done. Very nice.
Well, for the first time in a very long time, the top 3 are not regulars for Supercars NZ. So we've had Zach Weddett-Smith in here before. But yeah, the other 2 newcomers, so good to see a bit of pace coming out of the pasture.
Yeah, always good to see new names coming along, and certainly in our GT3 or GT3 and GTE racing over the past few seasons, we've become quite used to seeing Stephen McCartan's name at the top. So good to see a few new names coming along and really taking it to him.
Yeah, well, he's undercut McCartan. We'll see. I reckon he's probably, it's a smart move, but he has got himself into traffic now, which he's just chipping away at. But yeah, he may be held up a little, so it'll be interesting to see what happens when everybody flows through for that first pit stop, which is probably going to be in about 6 laps, I think. Did I say 26 or 21? 26, so
So Bill Kilgall's had a moment out there, unfortunately, so coming down into Variante Alta, so we've seen a few people struggle there, and they actually had the reds locked before he even got to that curb, and then the curb just sort of finished him off, I think. And certainly a place I've had a few spins in the V8 there. It's a very tricky uphill chicane, and you got to try and carry the speed through that first apex to get down into the second apex. And it can
Check
be.
out the oh, battle for 15th.
Battle for 15th.
Yeah, these guys
Oh,
were
yeah.
too wide. You know, 4 cars too wide.
Oh.
And we just see right off the track. I'll cop that one. That was my curse. Although I didn't say anybody's names, I was just sort of, those 4 guys were racing pretty hard there.
Yeah, so we'll have another look at that, because I didn't quite pick up as whether there was any contact. Oh, he's just got in deep and got into the back of Brian Borg and unsettled the rear as a result. So there was contact, but unfortunately that was all Kristen's mistake on that one.
Yep, all in his hands.
James McKenzie's doing a good job running in P15. Brian Borg just behind him, and we've seen Brian able to carve his way up through the field almost effortlessly so far, but just seems to run into a little bit of a roadblock with James. So doing a good job there to keep a pretty quick driver behind him at the moment.
Yeah, both Stefan Adams and Brian Borg both started from pit lane, so they've been our biggest movers so far, up 9 and 11 respectively. Brian's just sort of hovering around, just waiting for that chance, or maybe he's just sort of, you know, watching how James is driving and sort of figuring out where he's going to make his pass.
He's sitting in there at the moment. Some gears on run down the hill here, he'll jump on the brakes, and still a bit too much of a gap to James at the moment.
Excuse me for a second there, champ.
Brian closing in on James on the draft here. Does he think about the move into turn 1? Not quite able to fire it down there. Oh, plenty of gravel at the apex of 2 and 3. That's unsettled James's car, and Brian's going to pull out, go down the inside into the hairpin here, or into the next chicane, sorry, and gets that position. So good move there, taking advantage of James initially going in a little bit deep at turn 1 and then coming across that gravel at the apex of 2 and 3 that unsettled the car and gave Brian the opportunity to get that run and get down the inside and move into P14.
9 o'clock, champ.
It is 9 o'clock.
Yeah, Scott, you can go back to reminding me about 9 o'clock. I've gone back to that. That free hour of power actually makes a difference in life. When you don't want to pay too much on your power, you've got to be a bit of a Scrooge, honestly.
Absolutely. So Stefan McCartan, Stefan and Stefan doing battle, and Stefan gets past Stefan.
It was all pretty clean. Stefan versus Stefan was no problem. And it was straight Stefan onto the back of James McKenzie. He's going to make short work of that too. He's going to get down the inside over the start finish line and going to have the clear road into turn 1.
Yeah, makes a good pass and continues his progress up into P14 now, and he's not too far behind Brian Walker. Actually, Brian's showing us having made 2 stops, so as well as starting from the pits, he actually also came in on lap 4, so he's still probably a little bit behind where he would have otherwise been. I think lap 4 probably indicates that he came in under safety car, so potentially due to being down the order after starting from the pit lane, he may have chosen to just come in under safety car and get some fuel there, take that opportunity to shorten up his next 2 stops.
So lap 18 now, or lap 19. So probably about 5 or 6 or 7 laps of fuel left is my guess. So everybody else is going to start flying through the lane. But the first of our guys that has stopped is Brian Ward. Stephen McCartan next in the queue. He's only not even half a second behind him now, as we can see. He's straight on to put pressure. So the key to it too, is not getting stuck behind somebody for too long, as we see a few cars flying through the lane now.
Yeah, that's right. He got that initial hit of fresh air where he came out with a nice gap, but then he did catch up to the pack and has been having to make some passes, but you see he's able to make the pass pretty quickly on Brian Broad. So as you say, just making sure he's not stuck there for too long and moves into that position of being the first driver that has completed a pit stop in the order. We have seen a few more cars roll through. We've got a few cars in the lane currently.
What's our pit lane transition times?
So Stefan took 39 seconds to roll through on his stop. Looks like the guys that are pitting now are rolling through in around that 50-second mark, so obviously taking a bit more fuel, having burned a fair bit more off by going that much deeper into the race. That will be
So
the...
he only took 9.8 worth of fuel. You know, that's how much time stopped. And everybody else, just to go up, there's a couple that have, obviously they all stopped early in the race. There's 3 other guys that have done the same sort of fuel as Stefan has. So it's interesting. The rest of them all doubled time. So Dan Turner, 18 seconds up on the jack. So a lot more fuel, but he was out there for, 12, 13 more laps.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's going to be the other thing to watch, is those leaders still out there doing laps, and a bit of battle going on for the top 3 as well, but these guys out there that Stefan was fighting with, and presumably these are the guys that he was wanting to beat on strategy here, but he will get a gain on them when they stop, because presumably they're going to take more fuel than what Stefan was able to get in the tank. They may not necessarily fill it to the brim if they're planning another stop, but they'll have that opportunity to stop for longer. They'll probably take that opportunity, so Stefan will get an immediate gain in terms of track position there, but he's going to have to pay that back later on when he does make his second stop. He's going to have a longer time to stop in the box when he does that.
Yeah, and it's all going to come down to, is there going to be another safety car? And is it going to be at the right time, or is it going to be in a completely useless time? Like lap 4?
Absolutely.
You can never plan them, can you? Well, you can in sim racing.
You can, but we don't anymore. We're literally, the only safety cars we will have is as a reaction to somebody having to tow, so there is... Well, if anybody is planning it, it's drivers out there deciding that they're going to call for a tow. Whether that happens or not, I hope not, but I mean, it happened in Formula 1, didn't it, Crashgate?
It's interesting. You've got the race radio on tonight, and we've had 2 calls, and one of them was a self call that they were retiring, so we can't really count that.
Yeah, and I haven't actually heard any incidents called in either. So we had the call for a tow, and Alan calling in that he was just driving in to retire, and that's it. So pretty good so far to see race control nice and quiet.
Tell you what, that field has spread out a little bit now, hasn't it? So there's just little clumps of people racing with sort of smallish gaps in between them.
Yeah, I think the pit strategy has probably contributed to that. I think we've got to the point where a few more people that have been in battles have chosen to come in and get some fresh air and get some fuel in the car. So I think that may come back together once everybody's completed that first cycle of stops, and we are seeing Zach Wentz-Smith, Matthew Johnson and Hogan Shrimpton. So 3 out of the top 4 all coming into the lane now, and we'll keep an eye on this as to where Zach emerges relative to Stefan McCartan.
He's got a few corners to go, Stefan, so it's going to be interesting.
He's not too far away from the end of the lap now, and he's coming past pit lane as those guys are still stopped, so he is going to cruise past. Moves up into P4 overall, but that will, I believe that will correct to the race lead with the gap he's got over Zach there, as Zach just emerges now 8 seconds behind, and Zach was not 8 seconds behind Jack Willis. So I think once everybody's pitted, Stefan will be our leader, but remembering that he's only taken 9 seconds of fuel versus 22 seconds for Zach Wentz-Smith.
It's all part of making a call, making a bit of a gamble, maybe. So in endurance racing, that's what it's all about too, isn't it? Just if you make the right call, you know, especially if you're in a team, you know, you've done it as well, Shano. You've gone and done the Spa 24 hours and things like that, and they don't always go the way you want.
Yeah, that's right. There's
But
always...
Sorry, yeah, I'll finish. But yeah, it's just about making that right call, and when you do make it, it all comes off all good, doesn't it? But sometimes you don't.
Absolutely. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes it rains during the 6 hour of Fuji, and it's starting to get to that point where you need wet tyres, but one of your teammates tells you that it's literally about to stop raining, so you're like, let's stay on slicks, and it pays off. Where other
Excellent.
times that might result in a spin out.
Yeah, going a little bit too spicy and going for a slide.
Alright, so the rest of the field in to clear that first round of pit stops now, so Aaron Goodrick's still showing as our leader with a lap on the field, so that's a little bit of a timing error there. I believe it has corrected now. Stephen McCartan correcting to our race lead now. Brian Borg up into P2, but his only actual pit stop coming on lap 4, so that will certainly change once he comes in for another stop. I am interested to see how deep he can get into this race, because we're not too far away from that halfway mark. With those extra 4 laps, plus a bit of saving behind the safety car, although it was only 1 lap behind the safety car, but he might be able to get to that halfway mark. Still going to mean though that if he had did those 4 laps beforehand, he still hasn't quite done half the race on the tank. So he may still need a bit of luck to make a, it'll still be a 2-stopper, but to get home on 1 more stop, he's going to still need to do a fair bit of saving. But could be interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, there's a few stories unfolding out there, isn't there?
There sure is, and just to come back to this story briefly, it looks like so 9 seconds of fuel for Stefan, 21 seconds for Jack Wittes. So that obviously a 12-second difference, and there is a 8.3 second margin there, so at this stage looks like on corrected order that Stefan's going to pop out about 4 seconds behind Jack after the second stop, but there could be some fuel saving going on in this stint. In fact, I would be surprised if Stefan's not saving a little bit of fuel to minimise what he has to add in that second stop. So that's just on the raw numbers that we've got, and it could change in reality when the pit stops actually come along, so that will be worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, very, very quiet night with race control. That is good. That means nobody's being naughty, so we'll give that a bit of a pass. Phil Carpenter still going. He is 1 lap down, so good on him.
Yeah, always good to see, and that comes back to what you were saying about the endurance races before as well, where things don't always go your way, but it's always a real sense of achievement to stick it out and actually make it to the checkered flag when you have a bad race. It doesn't feel as good as when you get a podium. I can't comment on getting a win in one of those because I never have, but certainly had a couple of podiums and they always feel pretty special, but certainly is a sense of achievement to get into the checkered flag in a bad race.
I've got to be part of a first in the second in the Daytona 24 hour, and a second in the Le Mans 24 hour. So I'll take that, but I got to be race engineer for a Bathurst winning trio. One of them's in this race, but we won't name any names.
That's very cool. Yeah, I had I believe a P3 in my first attempt at the Watkins Glen 6 hour, and then a year later, or no, it might have been 2 years later actually, teaming up with the very same teammate, we achieved a P2 in that one, so we won better. So I think we've already missed that race this year. Maybe if we keep the 2 years thing, because I believe it was last year that we got the P2, so maybe next year if we do it again, we'll go one better again and get the P1.
Yeah, you always want P1, right? Some battle going on here for 4th spot at the moment. So Matthew Johnson on the back of Zach Widdett-Smith. He is not giving up. He is not giving up. Gets it past.
He's gone down the inside and moves up into P4.
Jack Widders has managed to get around Brian Borg as well, so he's up into P2. 10 seconds behind Stefan Mercado now, so another second opened up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out with Jack being ahead of Brian and in clear air now. 10 seconds to Stefan in front of him, so some space ahead of him, no one holding him up, and he can get his head down and focus on some lap times.
He has got the fastest lap of the race, Jack Widders now, 1:39.28.
lap 25. Race control.
So Wayne Hartnell making a call.
Yes,
to
up in
race
33
control.
will have a look.
We do have data on an incident for Wayne. Blake Greenhall behind him, pulls out for the pass. Just on that angle, I would call that Blake was far enough up there, but we might be able to get in the aerial shot. We might be able to tell a little bit more of the story. Have another look at that. So down into the chicane. Certainly a very late move. Probably not as far up as I thought from the other angle, but he was past the front wheel. Sorry, he had the front wheel past the rear wheel, and that is in the rules, the guidelines for significant overlap is front wheel at the rear wheel, and he had certainly achieved that. So Personally, I don't see Blake having done anything wrong there, or having done a lot wrong, and I think maybe Wayne probably could have given a bit of space there to avoid that one, so I believe will probably end up being a racing incident, but we'll let race control look into it and make their decision, and we will hear that come across when they have made a decision.
I feel like that's not the sort of place where you make a pass like that, because you go straight through those chicanes. So Wayne was only, sort of looking after his line to get through there the fastest way he could. Not somewhere where I would try and make a pass, personally. Well, I don't catch anybody to pass them, so Brian Borg, he has come into the lane, taken his 21 seconds of fuel, and come out P11, so it's still up 14 spots.
And worth noting that he did make that 45-minute mark, but as I said, he had done 4 laps, we're already 4 laps into the race when he took his first stop, so it's still going to be a fair bit of saving, I think, to get to the end without stopping here. So if we get a safety car, he might luck out here, but I think he's probably going to struggle to make this one work. I think we're going to have to see him come in for a late splash on this one.
A late little splash and dash. Name I'm familiar with, Hammy B, Hamish Barnhill, was regular for Virtual Motorsport NZ Wreckfest.
And he's
Part
got
of the KRF endurance team, so managed to talk him into coming in for a race.
very cool, and he's got a name we're all very familiar with, Sean McNamara, just on the back of him, and Sean was able to close up through the last couple of corners as Hamish went a little bit wide there, and plenty of pressure coming on now. Hogan Shrimpton's had a crash, but we'll just let this play out because Sean is very close. Had to think about it under brakes into turn 1, couldn't make it work. I think that might be Hogan kicking up dust there as he rejoins out of turn 1.
A racing incident. Carry on.
Yep, so
racing incident was that.
Yep, so I called that one right. It was a racing incident. Certainly see your point, Corey, about it maybe not being the smartest place to go for a late braking move there, but under the rules he did get to the point where he was entitled to a little bit of space and he didn't get the space, so I think that's where race control determining that it is just a racing incident and play on.
Yeah, well, that call's been made. You can't go on about it. So carry on, keep racing. They're both still moving around the track though, so that's good news.
They sure are. So this is what happened to Hogan Shrimpton. Under brakes. Oh, he's just got that line a little bit wrong and just clipped the grass under brakes, and that is never helpful to getting the car turned into the corner without losing the rear.
So just the 3 retirees from the race. That's not too bad. The incidents so far, I can tell you, Shano, there's a couple of drivers that are on the cusp of needing to take that drive-through. So that's going to be race-ruining stuff too. Go through the lane, it's going to take you out of where you are.
Yeah, it will be. Thankfully for the guys out there, not too long of a pit lane here tonight and relatively high pit lane speed as well, so it won't be as brutal as a drive-through at the bend last week where you had to trundle down at 40k's, or what we had on Tuesday night at Misano, where it's a very lengthy limit all the way down pit exit until you're almost back on the track, and it's a very long way from the end of the pit stalls to actually be able to flick that limiter off and get racing again, so that was a very brutal one as well.
Brutal. Yes, that's what it sounds like. Of course, this is round one of the GTE Endurance Series from Imola. So next week, Road America, followed up by Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and then the final round at Bathurst. So awesome set of tracks for these GTE cars to go flying around, Shane. I can't wait for Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It is one of my favourite tracks in iRacing.
Yeah, that is a very cool track, and probably the only one of the four that I would probably see is leaning itself a bit more towards sprint racing than endurance racing, but I'm actually interested to see how the Enduro goes there. 90 minutes around there should be very exciting. We obviously did the Enduro for Men's Health there this year, so that was very cool, so hopefully it should be good on the GTEs as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it should be. I'd say it'd be good. It always is. It doesn't matter what you're driving. It's a great place for endurance racing. Lots of flow. But the lineup, Road America as well next week. Great. That's Phil Carpenter going in to retire, so that's unfortunate for him. So we have to find another way to give away a iRacing car or a track to somebody tonight.
Worst case, we can go to the old wheel.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that'll be if someone does something absolutely awesome, I reckon we give it to them. It's got to be awesome.
Which somebody's car was that? I think it was Hogan Shrimpton again, so not having a good time at the moment. Gets back going again. Had been racing up the front, or near the front in the first stint, and unfortunately a couple of incidents in quick succession have put him back to P10 now, so not how he would have been wanting things to play out. A little bit familiar seeing someone called Rob in a monster livery. It's Rob Carwood now though. Not Rob Higgins? Was it Rob Higgins that you used to run the monster livery? Haven't seen him around for a while.
You know, you're right. I think it was Rob Higgins. Yeah, the old monster livery. Maybe he's changed his last name.
Maybe he has. Also very much changed his accent, because I don't remember Rob Higgins having a South African accent, which Rob Carwood certainly has.
Okay, I didn't know that. I've not had the pleasure of speaking to him. So Stefan McCartan down the lane to take that second lot of fuel for him, so you'd assume he'd have enough to get home from here, so be interesting to see as we see Jack Widders now. It's about to pass him and take the lead as we see him go through the screen. So it's down to fourth.
Yes, I would imagine Stefan's pretty much run the tank to empty. I think he got in almost at the earliest opportunity to make the two-stopper work when he made that first stop. So he sits there, he's sat there for 21 seconds, so pretty much on par with most other people's first stop. So it looks like they've all taken their full tank first, where he's taken the light fill early first and filled it up at the second stop and comes out P6, so we'll keep an eye on his progress, and worth noting that his gap to P1 now is sitting at 33 seconds. He's taken 51 seconds to get through the lane on that occasion, but of course Jack will have the opportunity to stop significantly shorter than what Stefan has just done, so that will be worth keeping an eye on.
Yep, that'll be the splash and dash. That's good. Strategy still playing out. 55 minutes into the race, so can't complain about that.
absolutely cannot, and I think it's going to go quite deep into the race before we do get that answer as well. Dan Turner running a bit wide there. If he didn't pick up a slowdown, he certainly would have picked up an off track.
Comment of the night, SDG. I assume the wounder is the one and only Sean McNamara. Yeah, JB, if you go into the link in the description, there is the live timing link you'll be able to jump on.
We've also got another link in our description to mrpsimracing.co.nz where you can pick up all the Trak Racer range from their official New Zealand stockist, which is MRP Sim Racing. Of course, we need to give a shout out to Extreme Auto Protection as well.
Oh yeah, and I have zero information on that.
Well, luckily Wayne's got us covered because he's got it all in there from Tuesday night. So they're in the business of window tinting, vehicle wrapping, detailing, PPF wrapping on all vehicles including boats. They're on Instagram and Facebook under Extreme Auto Protection, so you can check them out there and find out what they're all about. I believe they are based on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia.
Yep, I was just scrolling up to a previous time that they were to find that information out. Yeah, I believe they are on the Goldie. Yep, there we go, Southport, Gold Coast. So, yeah, it's cool to have a little bit of love from our buddies over in Australia. But if you're over that way, and even if you've got a cool boat and it's parked in the marina there on the Gold Coast, and you want to get a wrap on it to keep it looking good, keep all those barnacles off the actual hull.
Yeah, absolutely. A wrap can be ripped off and reapplied once it's got all the barnacles all over it. Much better for your
It'll
boat.
be easy removal. Yeah, it looks painful watching people remove those, but I don't think they have that problem over in Australia. So Wayne Hartnell, he's currently running around. Lost his name. There you go, 17th. So he's down 3 spots. Still going to have to stop, get himself some more fuel. I believe he's fairly high on the incident limit too, so we'll be trying to keep it as clean as he can from here.
Solid pace he's showing at the moment as well. His last lap, or he's actually just done a 55.2 on that lap that he's just completed, so something's happened there. But prior to that, he'd done a 42, which was around a second off his best lap of the race, which this deep into the race is not bad at all.
I think he may have came down the lane and done a tour of the lane recently.
Yes, I believe you are correct. Although, no, actually lap 18 was his last stop, so... Interesting, I'm not seeing... Okay, so that would have been lap 33 that he was on. And I do have data for Wayne going off track on lap 33, so I think this is going to tell the story to where he's lost some time there. Oh yeah, just running down the AstroTurf, not able to get the braking efficiency there and just goes straight on and takes a trip through the gravel trap, so that does explain that one. Ooh, as we rejoin the live pitches as well, he's gone a bit deep again, and Hogan Trimpton's able to get alongside and looks like he's going to be able to get that pass done. Hogan having made 2 stops, Wayne just the one, so these guys are not racing for position at the moment. Well, technically they are racing for position right now, but overall they're not racing for position, so not really worth Wayne putting up too much of a fight there.
Yeah, well, the first of our cars that are good to get home, we know Stefan McCartan and Brian Borg. So he's in 6th. Brian Borg, he's in 9th. So we know he's going to be good to get home. And I'm guessing Hogan Shrimpton is going to be good to get home.
I'm not sure we do know that Brian's good to get home. He pitted around that 45-minute mark, but he had already made a stop on lap 4, so I still think he's got a fair bit of saving to do if he's not going to stop one more time.
True, yep. I will definitely take that on. Just hope. Just run on hope.
Keep going until it's out of gas and hope that you can get back to the lane if you do run out.
Yeah, well, those last few corners here are downhill too, so if you can get enough momentum, you can make it home. I know this because I have run out of fuel here. Yep. Probably just before that chicane. And I managed to roll all the way down and into pit lane. Luckily, my pit bay was right at the end. In an endurance race too, so I had my teammate telling me what a wally I was. I went one more lap. Shouldn't have.
Yeah, it's always a risk pushing that extra lap, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it actually said, you know, I had enough for 1 lap of fuel, but it said it exactly, and yeah, I didn't. I got to the pit bay though, so I probably only lost a couple of positions too. So it was sort of mid-race, and we were running around near the back of an endurance race, so we weren't too worried.
Alright, all worked out then, I guess.
Yeah, on board here, Peter Rothmitz. He runs out of Dunedin, so I bet it's cold down there. It's cold a little bit further north where I am.
It's bloody cold on the Naki where I am. I can only imagine what it's like down that way.
Yeah, well, I seen your hill covered in the white stuff the other day.
Yeah, it's looking very, very beautiful at the moment.
Yep, the old nipple out west. Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that. I apologise. I don't think the stream's for kids. Is it?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah, that's good. They've probably heard too much.
So Jack Widdis continuing to lead at the moment, P1 in car 7. But still needing to make one more pit stop to get home. And what's his gap to Stefan McCartan sitting at now? Looking like 35 seconds. So it'll be interesting. It could be quite tight once it all plays out. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and see how it all goes. Matthew Johnson 7 seconds back from Jack in P2.
Yeah, they're both running on the same strategy too, so Matthew Johnson come in 1 lap before Jack did as well, so they're going to have to come in. So that's everybody in front of Stepan, isn't it? So the top 4 all still have to fuel to get home.
Yeah, they sure do. Zach Wentz-Smith, P3 currently, up 1 spot from where he started. He's got 23 seconds to Stefan McCartan, so I would imagine Stefan should come out, or should get ahead of Zach when Zach pits, and probably Matthew as well. And then I'll be interested to see how close he's able to get to Jack and whether he's potentially able to even get ahead. Sean McNamara currently running in P4, but as I said, also still yet to pit, and he's only got 1.5 seconds to Stefan McCartan, so he will certainly not be able to hold on to P4. And he may drop back to somewhere around the back end of the top 10 when he does take that second stop.
Yeah, right out of it.
Although actually there are a few more cars behind Stefan that also have a second stop to take, so that will filter things back for Sean, but I think he'll probably emerge somewhere around where Brian Borg is at the moment, which is P9 currently, but then there's another 3 cars between Brian and Sean that they'll also have to take a second stop, so he might only lose a couple of spots when he does pit, so he should be running around P7 when it all cleans out. Stephen McCartan, first car that has taken both stops currently, P5. Goodrick there in P6, also still yet to take that second stop. Rob Carwood, P7, up 3 spots. He will still have another stop to make in this one as well. Hamish Barnhill, P8, up 1 spot, also with another stop to make. Brian Borg is the one I'm interested to watch. I do believe he's going to need a splash, but I'll be interested to see if he's able to prove me wrong. Currently running in P9.
Yeah, his pace, he's only, well, his last lap of 141. So, as fast as his 140, 0.6, so he's running slower, about a second and slower than his fastest, but is that just, he's got more fuel on at the moment. Doesn't tell you what lap that he did that time on to me.
No, it doesn't tell me that either. Potentially if I bring, but if I bring it up down the bottom there, it tells me his best lap and his last lap. It doesn't tell me what lap either of those were done on.
So lap 31, that was his fastest lap, and it looks like he's sort of slow. Well, he's done another 140, lap 37. So I think he's still going for it. I don't think he's really fuel safe.
So
this guy definitely won't be fuel saving.
No, though he was very good at that in the GT3s a while back, where we put up some interesting fuel strategy races, and he was able to save fuel in the races where a lot of people were making 2 stops. He was able to make a 1-stop work, and then there were even a few races where he was able to not stop at all versus most people making a 1-stopper, and got a few race wins that way. So he certainly can fuel save.
Yeah, I minced my words there. Apologies, Balaki.
George Bell's P10, so these guys have just moved up a position. I think someone's just been through the lane. Stefan Adams in the pits at the moment.
Oh, I see. So he's part of Premier Racing Team. So that's the same as Brian Borg. So there's the connection.
Okay.
And it looks like there's a Hammy B behind. He is running a PRT team colours as well.
Yes.
That makes sense now.
Hamish running in P11 there. Hogan Shrimpton in P12. Frustrating second stint for him. He has been back to the lane and made his second stop, so he'll be hoping to have a cleaner final stint. But yeah, those couple of spins in the second stint took him out of a good position, unfortunately. Anthony Green running P13.
Interesting
Also
fact, he's only got one eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. I say he's a one-eyed Holden guy, but it's not Holden, it's something else. I can't remember it right now. It's got to be Chev. I think it's Chev. He's a one-eyed Chev man.
Well, that's pretty impressive to be out there doing nice consistent lap times with the depth perception that he will be lacking with only one eye.
On triples.
Very impressive.
Actually, he brought my original triple screen setup actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Still humming. Yeah, and the Manawa too. It's good when you know a little bit about the drivers too. You know, you can talk a bit of smack. We don't know much about Dylan Radford. We know that he loves the Ford GT.
He certainly does seem to, and he's out there ripping it again, P14. Oh, climbing over that curb.
That's a pit stop.
Oh yes, is that
Matthew
Went
Johnson.
Smith?
Yeah, and sure.
Yeah, Matthew Johnson has emerged from the lane now, and Stefan 10 seconds up, or 9.5 seconds up the road, so I think that's pretty close to the gap that was existing between Jack and Matthew, was that 10 seconds, so that could have Stefan right on Jack once Jack makes that final pit stop.
Yeah, you reckon he's going for it now? He's definitely up it because his last lap a 140, but Jack's last lap is a 139, so about half a second difference, closely, roughly, last time by. So the both of them still going for it, but of course, yeah, Jack, is he going to be in this lap?
Yeah,
He's
we
just
did
started his
see.
42nd.
Yes, I'm at 43. He put it on lap 22 previously, so conceivably got one more lap that he could do. Still quite early on in the lap as well, so he may come in at the end of this one, or he may be able to push it one more lap after that.
Hammer down. Hammer down.
Yep, it's hammer time for Jack. I do miss hearing that in Formula 1, hammer time.
Yeah. He's in a Ferrari and not fast now. Was he just too, has he passed it?
I don't know, but more to the point, he doesn't have Bono as his engineer anymore, so we're not using that phrase that he and Bono used to use as the code for go time. But anyway, Jack into the lane, gets it down to 80 k's.
So this is going to be the interesting one, isn't it? Where's he going to come out? Is Stefan going to get past him? We're going to find out very, very soon.
Yes, he comes down the lane, comes into his box, stops at his marks, won't go up on the jets because they're not going to do tyres. Should stop for probably around 9 seconds, I'm imagining, or go a little bit longer. That looks like 12.1 seconds, so a little bit longer compared to Stefan's first stop. Where is Stefan on track? He is just coming down the pit straight now. There's a bit of a gap at the moment, but he's up to speed. Jack's still getting up to speed.
Yeah, warm tyres versus... No, he didn't change tyres. Don't mind me.
They would
have cooled off a little.
Will have cooled off a little bit, rolling down the lane at 80 k's and then stopping in the box as well. So maybe a factor, but it shouldn't take them too long to get them back into that window. But well, 1.6 seconds, 1.7 seconds nearly. It's tight. And as far as pace, well, last lap we can't really compare because it was an in lap for Jack, and then this one will be an out lap. But certainly Stefan able to lap in the 140s at the moment, 140.2, and Jack was just under that 140 mark previously, but he's just chucked a bulk of fuel back in that car and he will have a heavy car again now.
Yeah, 100%. But he is going to be close enough to, you know, he's got a bit of time to catch. 15 minutes to go, or just under 15 minutes to go. So it's going to be, wow. I think Jack is quite a bit faster over the last few laps. Well, how's this going to play out?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch how that does all pan out. So continue going down the order. I think we got up to Dylan Radford, Dan Turner in P13 there. Team West BMW.
Yeah, he's had a quiet night, hasn't he? That's a bit of a, it's not his team.
He's got Team West on the side.
Yeah, I know, but look at the data.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, that's,
Oh. Here we go.
yeah, I think just a little discrepancy there because I had the times up as opposed to the team, but it was still trying to display the team but not updating the team. George Mills in P14, which I think I want. Multi-car team, that still doesn't do a team name for George, but yeah, there we go, it's Team West Racing for Dan. So George Mills, privateer I guess, although he's... Is that? Yeah, that is the Premier Racing Team colours as well, so he is another Premier driver.
They could be the most team with the most numbers in tonight, and a lot of them it's their debut, so good work. A whole new team coming in for some racing action.
Yeah, very cool, good to see. Normally it's these cars that are the most popular on the grid, or in the V8 sometimes it's the PSR cars. But James McKenzie...
Yeah, depend on the division too, wouldn't it? I think the Misfits sort of own a little bit of the, depending on Misfits or Passion for Div 1, and then Team West and Div 2.
Yeah, definitely Team West very well represented in Div 2. I'm the only Passion driver currently running Div 2.
Yeah, you demoted yourself though, didn't you?
I did, because I took a fair bit of time off and I wasn't confident enough with the Gen 3 cars to jump straight back into Div 1, and I think it was a good call, because I think certainly my pace is very much around the probably tail end of the top 10 most of the time in Div 2, although I did get a pole at Road Atlanta as James McKenzie has a big moment, jumps over that curb and fires into the gravel, keeps it out of the wall, and he'll rejoin, he'll drag a bunch of gravel back onto the track with him, but he'll keep going.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of gravel or debris out on the track.
Debris.
Now, where's it saying he's from?
That says Mauritania.
He lives in Levin. He did live in Ohau. We know Tom. He's from West Auckland.
Another Team West car, P17. Chris Zalewski, Racecraft NZ P18.
I reckon he's probably in Jaffaland.
Kristen Jenkins, another Team West driver, but not running the Team West livery on the Ford GT. Potentially they don't have one for the Ford GT.
Come on, Dan. You need to get onto it, mate.
Pete Rotmix and P20 for KRF.
I'm not sure about the green wheel. But interesting, that paint is about 5 years old.
Oldie bit of goodie then. Stephen Adams sitting in the lane at the moment. I hope he's not pulling the pin. He may be though. Wayne Hartnell looks like he has already pulled the pin, so that's all our drivers still running so far. Out front, Jack Widders has just been able to stretch that lead fractionally over Stefan McCartan, but on last lap pace, Stefan was a tenth of a second quicker than Jack, but Jack going a couple of tenths quicker on this occasion. So just a little bit of back and forth at the moment in the lap times. Jack just doing enough to keep him at arm's length at the moment. 8.5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it went by pretty quickly, didn't it? And we've had some great racing. And Stefan's managed to get up at 1.8 seconds there. And it sort of stayed there. It's been around that 2 seconds there for the whole time. Jack Widders has kept the hammer down.
Sean McNamara just hovering around that 1 second behind Aaron Goodrick at the moment, so he might be looking to put some pressure on his race control partner from the V8s.
Yeah, he won't want to take him out, would he?
Or it would be, that would result in some extensive discussions if there was contact between these two.
Yeah, I'd like to be a fly on that wall. Comments coming in on the YouTube. So McCartan, he come in lap 31, so roughly almost 20 laps ago. So he will be fuel saving. We need to make it to the ending. Well, he's going to be close.
Yeah, what have we got? 7 minutes remaining, just gone under that. It's around 1:40 a lap, so five or six more laps to do maybe.
So JV's just given some information on Jack Widders. So he races in the, I'm guessing he's meaning the Logitech V8 Pro Australian Series, and he's debuting in the GT Pro Series tomorrow night, so getting some practice under his belt, I guess. Any lap times, good lap time?
Yeah, absolutely. That's very cool. Obviously a very competitive driver that we've got in the race tonight, and Stefan will be very pleased that he's been able to keep pace with a driver of that calibre, so sitting at that 1.8 second margin.
I think Stefan races in the GT Pro Series.
Okay.
Pretty sure he does. So, yeah, I think I can 100% say he does. I think a few of those OPR boys are involved in that.
Oh, Sean's just backed off there. I think he might have picked up a slowdown somewhere. That's unfortunate because he momentarily got down to half a second behind Aaron Goodrick, but he's now dropped to 2 seconds behind, so he will be disappointed with that one.
Talent. Talent difference, isn't it? I haven't given him crap for a while, I suppose.
Not sure he's necessarily got very good memories of this track either. I remember streaming a V8 race here where he spun it on the last lap at that last chicane, and it may have been replayed numerous times post-race.
I remember seeing that on replay in slow motion on repeat. Because he went backwards into the wall, didn't he, I think?
Yeah, you might be right there, actually.
Yeah, lost it through that chicane, and there's that on the right, all that fence line. We know he won't be listening to our dribble. He'll watch it back later and have a laugh. An infectious laugh that he has.
Well, he may
Good
listen.
mover.
He may listen to it back later rather than watch it back, because he told me now that he's doing his sales rep job for Wins, where he's driving around in the work vehicle to different places. He puts the stream on and he listens to it while he's driving around.
Oh, okay. And that's why he gives us all those pointers.
Absolutely.
Oh, somebody's got to wear the big boy's pants.
I heard you start to say biggest movers, so I'll bring the gain up now, and it is Brian Ball at the moment, started from pit lane, up 17 positions.
Clicked on the wrong button. So, yeah, biggest mover, Brian Ball, up 17 spots into P8. So, is he going to need to stop for fuel? I don't think he's going to make it with 3 minutes to go. A little bit of fuel saving.
Yeah, certainly got a little bit further than what I was anticipating, so...
That last lap is fastest lap of the race too, so he's not fuel saving.
Very much not, no.
No, it's just as I said, it flashed up green, so it's his last lap, fastest lap for him, so it's a 1:40.490.
So just coming down to 2 minutes remaining now. Jack Widders has just started another lap, so I think we'll get this one and then one more in.
Yeah, just a casual 54 laps for a Thursday night. Around what potentially the most famous track in Italy.
Second most,
Yeah.
after Monza.
Yeah, I guess I could give you that.
We've had a bit of a
There's another one
flood.
too.
Well, we've had a bit of a flood of Italian tracks coming onto iRacing recently. We just raced on Misano, which is an Italian track. I believe there's another couple of Italian tracks that came out recently. There's one that I can't remember the name of, where F1 raced during COVID years, much like they did here at Imola. And there was a big crash on the pit straight on a restart because they have the big long front straight there, and someone waited till the last possible moment on the restart and everybody crashed behind them.
Excellent.
I really wish I could tell you the name of that, but it's just not coming to me at this stage. But that one's certainly on iRacing now as well.
Oh, I take back what I said. There's heaps of Italian tracks at iRacing.
Sean's been able to close that gap in towards Aaron Goodrick again, but he might be running out of time to try and make a pass. Looks like Jack Widders on the final lap now. Stephen McCartan, he's pulled that gap down to 1.3, but he is very quickly running out of time, and I don't think he's going to be able to get there.
Yeah, well, looks like 4 of the top top 10 drivers are where they started in the race too. So Jack, Stefan, Zach, and Sean all where they started the race.
Yeah, that's always a...
That.
Well, we've just gone over the 90 minutes, so this will be the final lap. We should get checkered flag as they come up to the line there. Looks like Hogan Shrimpton is going slow there. He's going to drop off the lead lap. I wonder if he wasn't going to make it on fuel, so he's just made sure he doesn't have to do that extra lap. But Jack Wittes through the final corner now. Stefan McCartan got close, but a second behind. Jack Wittes is going to come across the line and take out the opening round of the Trak Racer GTE endurance season. Well done, Jack, on the win. Stefan McCartan coming home in P2, and they are 18 seconds clear of Matthew Johnson, who is coming to the line now in P3, rounding out the podium. Zach Wentz-Smith bringing it home in P4. So those tight gaps early on in the race that seem to be being maintained through the top 5 certainly got spread out by the end of the race. Aaron Goodrick currently in P5, he's been able to stretch the gap over Sean McNamara again out to 1.5 seconds. Aaron brings it home in P5. Sean McNamara P6. Rob Carwood's got Brian Borg all over the back of him. Brian is showing as having made 4 stops now, so I think he did actually have to make an extra stop there. One of those was starting from the pits, but he just got Rob at the line, so Brian comes home P7.
Well
And
done,
Rob
everyone.
Carwood P8. Yeah, so Brian made his final pit stop on lap 46.
Thanks,
So he
admin and race control.
did make a 3rd stop in the end there. Blake Greenhill P9.
All good, man. Well done on the racing. Sorry, bro.
Hogan Shrimpton we saw drop off the lead lap there. He finished in P10. Dylan Radford P11. Hamish Barnhill P12. George Mills P13. Dan Turner P14. James McKenzie P15. I think they are just doing a cool down lap. I think they have taken the checkered flag. Anthony Green P16. Tom McCall P17 out there celebrating. Chris Walewski P18. Kristen Jenkins P19. P. Rotmitz P20. Wayne Hartnell I think pulled the pin early on that one. He was showing his P21, but he was a DNF, as were Stephen Adams, Phil Carpenter, Steve Darren, Bill Kilgour and Alan Scott.
That's all she wrote.
It is, and looks like we are going to be putting 22 names on a wheel. So I will get onto that.
Right. I'll go through and have a look. And so Brian Borg was our biggest mover too, so he moved up 18 spots to P7. Second on the biggest movers, we got George Mills up 7 spots into P13. Stephen Adams didn't finish, so but he was up 6 spots, so I guess you got to take that. But yeah, four of the top 6 all finished where they started, so their qualifying pace and the race pace are pretty similar. We call that. Some beautiful foliage pictures here for Doug. Yeah, it's an Italian city over there.
It is, and I forget the name of the city that is right next door to Imola.
Is it called Imola?
No, I don't think it is.
Looks like the coast over there, is it as well?
Could be.
Looks boggy, so that somebody doing some donuts down there. Yeah, Dan Turner blew his motor up. Good fashion.
Alright. Let's find the button to get that up on screen. There we go. So, there's our wheel. Oh, that wants to follow my mouse around. Make it a bit bigger. And we can give that a spin. We've got numbers 1 to 22 on there. We spin it up and we're going to see where it lands. Is it going to be 16 or is it going to tick across into 5? It just landed on 16, so that is going to be Anthony Green.
Oh, Ants J Green getting himself a free car or a track.
Very cool. So that wraps us up for tonight. We don't have anyone waiting to have a chat to us, so we can say, well, I can say thank you to you, first of all, Corey, for joining me in the lounge tonight.
Absolutely my pleasure, my friend. And yeah, I will be looking forward to the rest of this GTE season, that's for sure. Off to Road America next week, and we're off to Okayama for the V8s with Wayno there on Tuesday. And yeah, Road America for the GTE. So yeah, awesome. That's all from me. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. And big thanks to our Raceweek sponsor, Extreme Auto Protection. Find them on Instagram and Facebook to see what they're all about. And of course, Trak Racer and MRP. You can get the full Trak Racer range at mrpsimracing.co.nz. MRP are your official stockist for Trak Racer in New Zealand. And big thanks to all our drivers for coming out tonight and having a race, giving us a show to put out to all the viewers at home. And thanks to all the viewers at home for tuning in, and of course iRacing for giving us the service to go racing on. We will see everyone next week.